Your theories are the worst kind of popular tripe, your methods are sloppy, and your conclusions are highly questionable.
Hello everybody, Dr. Incompetent here, and I'm getting ready to play one of my favorite games, Might and Magic 3, the Isles of Terra. Now, one of the first things I like to do when starting out on a game is take a look at the artwork on the box or the instruction manual, and just do a little free association to kind of develop a framework for what we should expect in the game. Like, what do we get from the artistic cover that is going to inform our adventure? So, some words that come to my mind when I look at this beautifully rendered cover, I just kind of want to spitball these and just fire them out. The first thing I think of is comely. And when I say the word comely, what I'm trying to evoke here is the idea of male beauty, specifically a kind of handsomeness, because this figure that we see emerging from the water here, brandishing a sword, is an Adonis-like beauty, but his beauty is something that is specifically masculine. I feel a masculine tinge to it. So, what we can expect in this game is beautiful things, beautiful men, specifically, okay? Now, looking closer at his beautiful form, and it's hard to take one's eyes off him, I understand that, I kind of am immediately reminded of the Bat-Rider from The Never-Ending Story. His appearance is eerily similar to that sallow-looking individual, and I'll try to scare up an image of that so you can relive that with me. So beyond his beauty, and I know that, you're looking at his face and you're seeing, yes, I can understand that that's typical male beauty. His form is quite emaciated. He's skeletal, and that kind of, I feel, shows a bit of the darker side of, the world of fashion and modeling. And I'm glad that they aren't afraid to work in uncomfortable aspects of reality. If he was just beautiful with no other complexity, it would be boring. But the way that they add that dimension to kind of keep us thinking about the fashion world and beauty and, the price of it, just really takes this to the next level. The other word that jumps to mind immediately kind of dovetails with that, and I would say it's fashion forward, hyphenating that to make it one concept. And the reason I say that is when you look at this individual, and if you can just, it requires an effort, but take your eyes away from his eyes and his gaze, you will see that he's got quite a lot of accessories. He has a beautiful gold headband, metallic, with a nice gemstone set in the center of it, opal shape. And then we've got what appears to be a 24-karat gold chain with another extravagantly cut emerald. He has a sword with a solid gold ball pommel, and up on the further end of the grip, when we get to the crossguard, there is another gem. Okay, then the blade itself has seen better days, but that's not this man's priority. This man clearly is in the business of prioritizing his appearance and his fashion. He has a ring on his pinky, as to most people. And then he has a very small skull as his belt buckle. That is quite upsetting, but it really sets the tone for his masculinity and his sense of aggression and adventure. Now, his vest is threadbare and barely held together. His pants are also poorly stitched, and he appears to be wearing bandages on his arms. So, you know, this guy is making a very solid statement about fashion, which is that it's primarily accessories and jewelry that one needs to attend to in order to really represent themselves at their best. And that's what he's doing. Now, another thing I kind of want to observe as I take this guy in, it's nighttime, the moon is looming, and yet we do have the sun rising in the background and throwing up its rays to accentuate the frizzy highlights at the ends of his hair. He has quite the hairstyle happening here. This is not something that just grows overnight. This is hours of maintenance, months, and it again harkens back to the Batman from Neverending Story, but there's also a bit of Richard Simmons and, perhaps Benito Santiago. Something is happening here that we need to recognize. Now, beyond the environment and his hair, let's just take a look at his posture. He is got his sword up in the I'm going to chop you stance of aggression, which is quite threatening. And beyond that, he has his extremely long fingernailed hand kind of curled up in a claw-like monster grab fashion. So we don't know quite what's going to happen here. Is he going to get us with his claw hand? Or is the sword going to come down? He's leaving us guessing. But what we are not guessing about is his hostility. He's coming at us. And so what we have to do then is set aside his physical beauty for a moment and realize that this is an adversary. This is somebody who is coming to fight us. He is not somebody in our party who's helping us out. He's coming out of the waters to attack us. Now, it may be a bit foolish with his legs submerged like this and giving up all of his footwork. But the element of surprise is here, and, we are also probably spellbound by his visage. But what I want to say is, okay, he's attacking us, and what are the developers of the game trying to transmit by putting a hostile being on the front of their game box or cover? For me, it says, do you want to kill this man? Because he is going to be killing you. You have the opportunity of using might and magic, perhaps even 3 times, to murder this man. And that's what this game is inviting you to do. Are you the kind of person who's looking to murder someone? Specifically a beautiful man. And if you are, this is the game for you. Now you can imagine yourself just absolutely destroying this guy, and then getting your pick of his extensive jewelry collection. You'll be taking his circlet or headband, you'll be prying off his pinky ring, quickly taking up his extremely extravagant sword handle, and ripping the chain and emerald off his neck. You might want the belt buckle. I'm not sure. The rest you can just leave. But you will come away from this a achieving your goal of bloodlust and theft. And that's really what this game is about, satisfying bloodlust and the need for forcibly taking material possessions from others, most probably at the cost of their lives, and using this to enrich yourself materially, just amassing a fortune, great gear, loot, and also enriching your spirit with the souls of your enemies that you wade through. So, understanding that at the get-go, this is a game about appreciating beauty and then murdering beauty and then enriching yourself. I think those key pillars are going to, be the 3 pillars of the Roman numeral that we see here supporting us. And somewhere along the way, we can't forget, the tertiary pillar of hair, that we need to have luxurious, flowing, radiant hair in a mane-like fashion in order for us to achieve our ends. And so I think that's a good starting point for this game, for us to even, before we even get into the business of the game, it's very important to take that initial impression, see what we get, and then dive in armed with the framework of these pillars of beauty, murder, and enrichment.